Alright you guys, it is time for one of my favorite videos to do. I only get to do it once a year. I know I'm a little late, but I didn't want to miss it because, like I said, one of my favorite videos to do. But first, hello and welcome. If you're new around here, my name is Katie Marie. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to check out another one of my videos. And as I said in today's video, I'm super excited to be getting to play with all of my palettes that I ranked top 10 for 2021. So if you missed it, I'll go ahead and link up here in the cards of my previous years where I've done this. But I basically like to go back to the previous year's ranking and I take the top 10 palettes, pull them all back out, and we're going to do a multi-palette bingo. I'm going to randomly select one shade from each of the palettes, 10 colors total that I have to do a look with. And as I said, I've done it before in the past. I think I've done it 2 years now running. This will be my 3rd year. I always have a fun time with this. It's always very challenging to fit 10 eyeshadows on your eyes, but I am so excited to be getting to dive back into them. I pulled the palettes out this morning. I'm like, oh yes, I remember these palettes just being so good. So let me go ahead and run through them really quick and then we can get close and we'll pick shadows and all that stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and start at the number 10 spot from 2021. I ranked the Nomad Fire and Ice palette. This palette was so good. I love the cool and warm elements to it. Then next for number 9 was the Glamlight Dirty Martini palette. Another great palette. Such a good green palette. I really enjoyed the mattes in that palette. Then for number 8 was the Nomad America's Parks palette. I love this palette so much. I'm so excited that we get to dip back into it. Love the color story. And then next up, what is this? Number 6? No, number 7 is the Odin's Eye and Fancy Face collab, the Hummingbird palette. Another great palette from this year. Like I said, I'm so excited to get to play with these. And then after that came the Odin's Eye and Annette Obrestad. I'm so sorry, but Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, she collabed with the Giant Wolves palette, which looks like this and just is such a grungy, dark, like wintry type of color story dream. I loved it. Next up after that for palette number 5 was the Mice and Cosmetics and the Basic Bee Perception palette. Super sad that Mice is no longer around. They rebranded, but this was a fantastic palette. I love the neons in it. I love the depth in it, and I also really like the shimmers. After that for palette number 4 was the surprise of the year. I feel like the LA Girl Main Stage palette. I've tried a LA Girl palette after this, nowhere near the quality and amazingness of this palette, and also nowhere near the color story. This is just such a gem. Love it. So excited to get to play with it again today. Then for my number 3 palette was the Menagerie and Annette from Annette's Makeup Corner, the Serenity palette. She did 2 collabs in 2021. Both of them were such a hit. This one's looking very sad from all of the traveling and moving that I've done this past year. Oh, I gotta try and repress some of those. Anyway, and number 2 is the Ace Beauté Tropical Vibes palette, which looks like this and is such a good palette. Such a good palette. Looking back at it, I'm so excited to get to dive back into it. Such creamy mattes and the color selection, so good. And then my number 1 from the whole year was the Beauty Bay Wilderness palette. This just came out of nowhere for me because I feel like Beauty Bay has launched so many other palettes since then, but none have captured me in the same way that the Wilderness palette has. So it's such a gem and it got the number 1 from the year 2021. So yeah, those are all 10 palettes that I'm going to use. As I said, going to pick one from each of the palettes and create something on my eyes. So let's get close and jump right into it. Okay, we're zoomed up close. I know I have sparkle all over my face. I took off some eye makeup before saying done to do this that I was wearing earlier, so it's a little messy, but we're gonna put more makeup on, so it'll cover it in a minute. So I'm just opening random number generator on Google. That's just what I do. It's nice and easy. And let's go ahead and pick. We'll go ahead and start from number 10 and work our way to the number 1 palette. So number 10 palette is a Nomad. Let's see how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15. So I'm just gonna pop the number 15 in here, and then let's go ahead and generate. We have number 11. 5, I just kind of go like 1 here. 5, 10, 11. Ooh, a pretty green. I cannot pronounce that, but or pretty green. Oh my goodness, mom brain. Pretty blue. Cool tone blue. Okay, we got something nice and deep to start out with. You guys know I like depth. There have been some palette bingos that did not go well for me. I think the last time I did a palette bingo was probably the worst palette bingo I'd ever done, and it was like all grades. It was crazy. I'll leave that linked up here if you want to see it, if I remember. Let's go ahead and go to the next one, which is the Glamlight, and this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 as well. So I can just pop this up right here and just click generate again, and we got number 15. Okay, so that's going to be 1, 5, 10, 15. I was probably off screen, so sorry about that, but this green, I like this green. This is Dry Vermouth. Vermouth? Don't know how to say that correctly, but this is a pretty shade as well. Oh, I like how both of them are kind of deep and cool tone, kind of muted-esque. That'll be really pretty. I feel like while this type of video, doing the one palette from each of the top 10, while they are a little challenging in just having 10 shades to work with, it's still not too bad because they're all my favorite type of palettes, so they tend to be my favorite type of colors, so easy to kind of pair them together. Next up is going to be America's Parks palette, again 15. So let's pull this up right here. Oh wait, where'd it go? Ah, it restarted. All right, punching it in again. That was annoying. Let's generate. Sometimes the apps just crash. 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's a good green to go with. That's a good green. That's really pretty. And it'll go really well with what we have going on here. I feel like we're gonna get a nice grungy type of eye look with a nice amount of green because we still have some more green palettes coming up. So I'm happy so far. Next up is the Hummingbird palette, which this has some fun colors to it. 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we got 12 shadows in here. This is gonna be my number 1 going over. Let me pop in, change this number to 12. And then I'm just going to, oops, generate. Oh shoot, I think it clicked 4. Sometimes I don't even see the number change, but I'm pretty sure before it was 3. So it must have changed, 4. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh. Very pretty orange shimmer. This will go really well with the colors we have so far for the mattes. So this is going well. And hopefully not gonna get overconfident here because I could see the last half of it being disastrous, but that's a pretty shimmer for sure. I think I got a little bit of the dark matte from that palette that was in the shade. So running through it, it's a little deep in the center, but that's not the color. That's my mistake. Okay, next up is going to be Giant Wolves palette. Again, has the same number as the previous palette. So we can just, oh man, let's see if it, oh my goodness, my app keeps crashing. This is very annoying. Random number generator, let's put in, what was it, 12? And generate 4. That's what we got before. Ooh, a beautiful black. There's a lot of other beautiful colors in here that I'm kind of bummed I didn't get a more colorful color, but I am glad to have gotten a black for this look. And Odin's Eye has fantastic blacks. As does, I feel like all the other palettes we're gonna mention in this video, like all the palettes that do have blacks are fantastic blacks. I don't remember not liking any of them, so you know, there's that, but this is a gorgeous black. Like, look how smooth it is. So pretty. This is the part where it starts to get hard because I start to run out of room on my desk. Next up is the Perception palette, right? It's really cool. The words, yeah, it's like that. So like looking at it straight on, you can't see it. So I always have to tilt it to the side to remind myself. But let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 shadows in here. And then hold it up and generate, well, we got 9. Let's see, starting here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, that's pretty. That'll go along really pretty with that blue to kind of blend out that dark blue. Ooh, this feels so nice. Such a nice formula. Let's see, put it right here. Very nice. That's a pretty color for sure. Okay, starting to go over my hair on my arm, so whenever I have hair it's never the smoothest, so I'm not gonna look the nicest type of swatches, but it'll be swatches nonetheless. Okay, moving on, we got the Main Stage palette, Desert Dream, and we got, this is what it looks like if you forget, and we have 12. This is number 1, but I'm just holding upside down because of the mirror. Let me punch in the number 12, or, oh my gosh, I can count, I promise. This is 16, not 12. I should get more sleep. Let's see, generate. No, I don't think it did it. If it did, it like changed to 9 and I didn't see it. 6. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that's almost the same color as what we just swatched. I guess it's a slightly different. Ooh, this is gonna be tricky. I feel like it's gonna get lost if I use it with that other blue because they're literally, I mean, they're pretty close. They're different shades of blue for sure, but if I use them too close, and even when I use them, I feel like when you blend it out, they're gonna look pretty darn similar. So first kind of duplicate shade among these. Still pretty. I wouldn't have minded gotten like the purples in there. That would have been a fun addition. The green would have probably been the same kind of green as what I already had there. Anyway, let's keep going. I have no more room on my desk. Move some things around. Next up is the Serenity palette by Menagerie. And I have to open this carefully because I don't want to continue to cause damage. I really need to fix it up. It had 3 moves last year. It's a little rough for wear, and it's dropped a couple times from my shelves and whatnot. Children have dropped it, so it's had a rough life with me. Now we got 12 in here, so let's generate it. I really need to take the time to press that back down. Did it move? I don't think it did. 8. I hope it didn't. It goes so fast, I sometimes can't see it. So we have 8, which is this blue. It's gonna be a very blue heavy look. Oh my goodness. I wish I got the orange out of that. I guess I already had orange, but I love the orange in this palette. We have, what is this? We have this gorgeous blue shade. These two look really close, and then these two look really close. Ooh, this is going to be interesting. How am I going to keep these defined? I mean, I guess I'll make it easy in that working and putting a color together is going to be very easy to use them all because they're so close. But I like them to kind of stand out too. I don't want them to mush together too much. Next is going to be the Ace Beauté. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 again. And I'm going to punch it in here and let's generate. 11. I saw that one go. So we have 5, 10, ooh, 11. This is introducing a new color to what we got going on here. Let me swatch it. I mean, I guess not terribly new. It'll go well with that orange in there, kind of tie that all together, but very new from the blues and greens we had going on here. And then the last palette we have to swatch is the Wilderness palette, which is good because I am all out of room on my desk. This palette has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20 as well. Looks like that. And let's go ahead and see if I can generate it with 1. Oh no. Seriously? This gorgeous palette and I have to use that? I feel like that's such a throwaway shade. I want to click it again. I'll use that because that I can just use on my brow bone, but like, I don't know. Let me remind myself what it feels like because I don't think it really... Yeah, it's such a... Okay, maybe this is cheating, but I'm going to pick 11 colors. 6. I want another color. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This green. I was hoping more reds down here just to bring something else, but this green, this will be really pretty, and we'll use that snow shade because you can use that anywhere. It's going to go very well with literally any type of look. It was a nice shade to use for the brow bone, to kind of clean it up, or if I needed to blend kind of the edges. That was nice, so I'll have that ability with this look, but definitely wasn't a shade I was like all excited for. Yep, and then this one. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, so per usual, I'm gonna show you guys what I have going on, but I'm gonna go prime my eyes and take a moment because I need to think. I just realized I only have 1 shimmer. That's gonna be interesting. I guess I'm gonna be using that 1 shimmer and I gotta figure out a place to put all these mattes. You know what I could do is do an all matte look and use that shimmer as my inner corner highlight. I might do that. But anyway, here I am talking it all out. Let me sit and think about it because I feel like I changed my mind 10 times. So let me think about it as I put on my eyeshadow primer and then we'll come back and we can get into it. Okay, so I just used the Ace Beauté eyeshadow primer and I think I am gonna do what I was saying. I love this orange all over my lid. It's beautiful, but with having so many matte shades, I gotta do an all matte look, and I just feel like that's going to make it work a lot better than trying to just fit all these into my crease and outer corners. What I want to do is I'm going to do green to blue. I keep going back and forth with green to blue or blue to green, but I think I'm going to do green to blue in the crease, and on the lid I'm going to swap it and put blue to green. These 2 shades are the only ones I'm not 100% on, but since I'm having, what did I say? I'm having blue out here, I'll probably use them, utilize them some way down below. But it's a little overwhelming, so I'm just going to get started with what I do know, because I keep forgetting which way I want to do this, but I think I want to do green in the crease and then blue on the outer edge because it'll give me ability to use more of these. I have more blues to work with and I feel like I'll be able to use them more on the outer edge and really define them, whereas greens I only have 3. Let's dive into it. So first I'm going to go into the darkest green, which is this shade. Let me get a really teeny brush. We're gonna go with like a pencil brush. Like I want it really skinny, but still be able to blend out a little bit. And let's see, what shade, what palette was that from? Pretty sure it was the Glamlight Martini palette. So let me pull it up here. And what shade was that? Dry Vermouth, I remember. Okay. I always am scared when I'm doing these videos that I'm going to forget and forget which shade it was and mess this video up. And I'm going to kind of keep the green a little bit limited. I'm not going to take it too far up because I have so many blues. I want to put like 1 shade of blue here and then 1 shade of blue out here just to give myself more room to blend and just add more colors basically. Okay, and then taking another teeny brush, I'm going to go in, oh yeah, I was going into the same palette. Hang on, it's gonna be a totally different palette, which is the last one, right, that I tried? Yeah, Forest, I think it was. Number 6 from the Wilderness palette. Double checking myself here, but yeah, this forest shade right there. I'm just gonna take that and put that right on top, and then that way I can use that really bright green Actually, yes, I'm double thinking. I'm rethinking it. Hang on, let me think. Because I feel like this is gonna be too dark. So maybe I should keep this shade. Maybe I should put this shade between the dark blues or light blues going into the dark blues. And then that way it can stand out more. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm reverting things, or not reverting things, but I'm changing things. I'm gonna go into this shade right here, which I think was from the Perception palette. I really hope it was. No, that was Perplex. Okay. Oh yes, that's what it was. The bright green, or that green I want to use, is from the America's Parks palette. That's what we're going to use. I'm going to pop this right in here because it was looking a little too dark, and I want to keep, I like having this inner corner light and bright, so I feel like this green's going to help do that more so than the other one would. It would just bring a lot more depth to things. So I'm going to do this. Okay, I already did this eye a little bit because I had to listen to my kids in the monitor because I thought they were waking up. I'm going to go into that black. Or not waking up because they haven't gone to sleep yet, but I thought they were getting louder and needed something. So anyway, I'm taking this black and I'm just putting it almost like a wing out here. Nothing too precise though, because I'm going to go back over it, but we're going to put this down to ensure that out here is nice and dark, because at the rate things are going, I don't know how much time I'm going to have to film today, so I'll probably have to not do a wing liner, but we're just going to put that down kind of as a base shade, or you know, like a base to my outer corner. And then I'm going to go into this shade. Oh yeah, I started taking off, but I'm going into this shade next, which is from the Fire and Ice palette, Nomad Cosmetics, for right there. And we're putting this out on the outer corner to fill in the rest of the outer corner. And I mean, this shade would probably be nice and deep and beautiful on its own, but having that black underneath it, ooh, just makes it so deep and beautiful, just like I like it. So just like that. And I'm not going too high, too far, just keeping it real close. And I can always go back and add a little bit more, but I got like 2 more blues, I forget, to fit here. So we're just gonna do this. Okay, next I'm gonna take the green from this, or the blue from the Serenity palette, and I'm putting it right in here. And I might even take it up a little bit, so I don't think I need this brush, because I forgot I'm gonna put a couple of at least one of the blue on the lid, so that leaves me still another blue to come up here and blend this out. So I forgot, for some reason I thought I had 3 more blues to do, but I only have 2. So I'm going to get a little bit of a more fluffy brush like this Sigma E33, and I'm going to take it and just come up a little bit higher so that this can kind of be a bit deeper and kind of stand on its own 2 feet here and not get kind of overshadowed by the next blue that I'm going to blend out. And I'm just going to spend some time working it into the greens here, which I think is perfect because the greens are a little bit deep, so having a deep blue and then I'll take an even lighter blue, that'll be a nice blend out. Coming right along, that shade did so well, or this brush did so well blending out that shade. I'm going to use it to blend out, I think I'm going to take this shade, which I got to take a minute to remember which one this comes from. Oh my goodness, it would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, palette number 6. It had to have come from this palette because that's the only other one. So it must have been, I think I remember this shade. So let me compare them just to make sure. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with the lighter blue, brighter blue from the Main Stage palette for my lid. And that means I'm gonna use Perplex, which is from the Perception palette, to blend out this outer edge. So I'm just gonna take it, like I said, on the same brush. I cleaned it off very quickly, nothing too hard. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any more color, but I don't mind if it's a little tinge blue because I feel like it doesn't really matter to blend these together. You can kind of tell a little bit difference there, but definitely a very minute little difference. But I'm gonna blend this edge too, because like I said, don't think I'm gonna have time to do wing liner today. So I kind of want to make sure the end looks nice because that's gonna have to just use that. Okay, that looks really pretty. These palettes, or all these shadows, are blending together so beautifully. I love it. And I still have that cream color from the Wilderness palette that I can use to finish blending these out. Okay, so I already went and finished this eye because once I do this part, I kind of like to do it quickly while the primer is a little like tacky, and so it doesn't dry up too much and then be hard to stick. So let's go ahead and dive in. These are all the brushes I'm using. Let's go first into the blue, which is from the Main Stage palette, one of the lightest blue in there, the lightest bright blue I should say. And I'm going to pack this right on top, bringing it up. Now these are all a little got a grunge dark aspect to it, even the lightest blues. So I think I'm going to use like a pastel graphic liner or something right here where the crease is, just to help it stand out, because I feel like it gets a little bit all blurred together. I mean, I guess it's pretty on its own, but I like a little bit of definition in the crease, so I feel like you can barely tell that I got a cut crease going on here. But anyway, let's just finish this up and then we can decide that at the end, and if I have the time for it, of course. So yeah, I just went like that, and then I took this little flat brush, or like a little packer brush. I'm gonna go into Forest from the Wilderness palette. That's last green that we have to use, and I'm going to pop this right here, and it is quite dark. So when I was doing it, I decided to pat this down, bring it really close to that blue, but I'm not going to take it on there because I don't want it to be too dark on my actual lid. I feel like it's making it pretty deep as it is. So I went like this with just like a sliver there. And then I flipped it over and I went into the lightest green, which is from the Nomad America's Parks palette. I'm just going to tap that right in between. And I feel like that'll help. I'm still using all the shades. I'm using this one twice. I don't think that's a big deal, but I'm still using that previous green. But it's going to just be more so on the outer edge, just so it doesn't make it too dark up here on the lid. And yeah, that way I get to use all those greens. And then I'm just going to go back and forth a bit until I like how the blend looks. That's basically what I did on this other side. Like that. I'm pretty happy with that. Sometimes I see more areas as I go along finishing up my look. But for now, I feel like this looks really nice. So I'm going to do one final tap around with all the different colors. I'm going to go and tap into, let me get a little bit more of that dark blue. And this is from the Nomad Fire and Ice palette. I'll tell you, the hardest part of using 10 shades is just that they're from different palettes, so I'm constantly having to open different palettes and remember where I'm getting them from, which I have a terrible memory, so. But yeah, this is pretty much going to be the look on the top. I like how it's going. Let's go ahead and I'm going to take, I think it's a little bit flat. I wouldn't mind if it was a little bit, not quite so dense, but a little bit more pointed. But I'm running low on brushes, so we're going to use this, and I'm going to go into Snow, which is that lightest shade in the Wilderness palette, so that I use it. And we're going to take this right on top. It's a great brow bone, kind of brightening shade, but once I kind of set it down, make sure nothing's tacky in here, I'm going to bring it down a little bit and blend it into the line I have going on with the light blue, and it just helps diffuse that line a little bit more, I feel like, and make it even more effortless and kind of like that ombre-esque, nothing too harsh type of look to it, which I like in my looks. Rarely ever get. There's so many times I leave my makeup table and it's like, it's a pretty harsh line there, but you know, you can strive for it. And shades like this, these beiges, definitely I feel like help. They're the trick if you're not very good at getting that effortless blend just with brushes and like the colors, getting a really good blend. I feel like taking this kind of skin tone color, whatever your skin tone is that matches, into your brow bone and then bringing it down is such a good way to kind of clean it all up and get that final blend look really effortless. Okay, so I really like how this looks. I feel like you can see all the colors, like they're not too hidden and covered up. I gotta fix this up here from my lower lash line. Kind of got a little fallout, so let's go ahead and finish up my lower lash line. Let me see here. Where did my wipe go? What do we have left to use on my arm? Let's see. We did all the blues, we did the beige and the green, so yeah, I think it's just that red and orange. That's literally it. My arm's a mess, but it's just those. We used all the other shades, so yay! That was easier than I thought, and that's so pretty. Okay, let's go. We're going to use, where'd that orange come from? From the Ace Beauté, that Safari shade, and ooh, ow, I hit my elbow. I'm gonna use this all underneath my lash line. That's where we're gonna let it shine. I feel like that'll be a good contrast to it. And I don't think I'm going to blend anything else to it. I might take a little bit of the black or dark blue on the outer corner just to mesh the two and kind of make them look harmonious and not too clashy. But I feel like this will be a neat pop of something on the lower lash line. Since we got to use it, I don't mind when my lower lash line pops with a different kind of color or feel to it than what I have going on my upper lashes or upper lid. So quick to put this on and blend it out. Not only is it like pigmented and it can go right against the lash line and give nice depth, but it's also a great color to like, or a great formula to just take that same brush and start blending out, and it gives you a very effortless blend. Like, I think that's so beautiful. So that's perfect. That took no time. And let's go ahead and I'm gonna go into, let's do the darkest blue, which again was from the, actually I'm gonna use one from the Perception first, which is this lighter blue. I'm just gonna take that and I just wanna go right in here. Barely touching my skin because I really don't wanna bring this down. I feel like if I put too much right here, it makes my eyes look heavier, and I have downturned eyes as it is. So I don't want to do that if I can help it. And then after that, I'm going to go into that darkest blue from the Fire and Ice palette and just put it right here. Going back up. I guess I could have used the black. I forgot. Let's see. And all that's left is the orange, pretty much. I'm going to shut palettes as I finish using them. And yeah, we got the orange. So let's see how much we can make that orange stand out without looking crazy. It'll kind of tie in the lower lashes, right? But this orange is from the Hummingbird palette. And we're just going to take this tiny little brush and really carefully try to place this without getting a ton of fallout. And it's very pigmented because it's a great lid shade. Not really my ideal for inner corner, but we're gonna make it work because we have to today. But I'm gonna just take some time once I get the initial color there, not picking anything else up, and I'm just going to tap around it to diffuse it because I don't want it to be too intense of a color, and I want it to kind of bleed outward, make it a little bit more natural. I think that's really pretty. That didn't take too long or wasn't nearly as hard as I thought it would be. Very happy. So at this point, I'm going to finish up my eyes. I'm going to go ahead and the question, do I put graphic liner or not? I think I'm just going to put a black wing liner and leave it at that. And I feel like there's something pretty about the, yes, it's cut crease, but it's so dark, it may be not. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is from Odin's Eye, and it's one of the okay ones. I wouldn't say it's like one of their best ones, but if you take some time to get it in, it definitely is a nice green. It's just very different from the advertisement. I'm always disappointed when I look at it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great green. And then I go to use it, I'm like, oh, okay. This is a different green than I anticipated just by pulling it out of the, you know, the cup to use, basing off the ends. So, okay, I'm gonna go out at this point. Let me put on more mascara to kind of cover up everything and put on wing liner, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. All right, so here we are back with the final look. This is how it turned out, and for having 10 shadows from, or 11 shadows actually, from 10 different palettes, I really like how it turned out. I feel like it's a very cohesive and effortless, and honestly, I don't think you would like peg this as coming from a bunch of different palettes. It's like that cohesive of a look. So definitely 2021 was the year of blues and greens for me, for sure, but I had a lot of fun. All of the shadows blended so seamlessly, getting to play with them once again. I just remember how wonderful these palettes are, and I always love to bring them back on my channel somehow, so I always like doing these videos to bring them back so you guys can see them once again. We can kind of reminisce and be able to use them again on camera and create a fun look. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I am a mess now. I gotta go clean up before I get eyeshadow everywhere. But yeah, with that said, that is gonna do it for me. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And with all that said, I am over on Instagram, as I always say, LadyKatie92 over there if you want to check out my reels, up close eye pictures, all that sort of thing. I'll definitely be posting an up close eye picture of this sometime soon, so you can check me out over there if you want to see that. And yeah, with all that said, that's gonna do it for me, and I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.